Our first speaker is Ruth Yap, founder of Zero Waste Sabah, an NGO based in Tuaran, Sabah. Ruth works with government agencies, businesses, schools, and local communities to tackle waste and plastic pollution. From promoting waste segregation and zero waste solutions to strengthening circular economy practices, her work brings together policy, education, and community action with a focus on finding practical, collaborative ways to address waste at the community level. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Ruth Yap from Zero Waste Sabah.
A very good morning, everyone. My name is Ruth. Thank you for that introduction. I'm a zero waste activist, and today I will be sharing with you communities which Zero Waste Sabah comes across in our projects. I will share with you their lived experience, lived realities and experience, and how advancing Malaysia, we can be more inclusive of this community. So advancing a more inclusive Malaysia with the community through the Zero Waste cause. I'm sorry to shock you with this photo early in the morning in such a beautiful place, but this is the reality that we are living with on the ground. So this is the Tuaran wet market, a rubbish collection point. Waste from the fish market and vegetable market and even household waste from rural areas end up in this place. 10 feet from this point, vendors sell their food and drinks. On days when this waste is not collected, both vendors and shoppers will have to bear the offensive stench that comes from these bins. And as I was working on this waste problem, I learned from the vendors that I interviewed that there were other issues. It wasn't just a problem about waste, but all these other. The market floods each time it rains because the broken gutters were not fixed. They have fans and lights, but they don't work, and they are not maintained. And some vendors, they are unable to rent their stores directly from the local district council because the stores are limited, and maybe because of poor management as well. So the vendors who are new and want to rent, they have to rent them from another vendor who holds the official tenancy. Now, all is good until problem arise, and then it becomes unclear who is the one to take action. 15 minutes away from this Tuaran market is a coastal fishing village called Kampung Gerinsing. Now, Kampung Gerinsing in 2008, these houses were rebuilt on reclaimed land. Today, this is what they look like. They have electricity, they have pipe water, but there's no waste management services. Because the current governance structure, the local district council is not responsible for collecting waste in rural areas. So where do they throw their waste? Just 5 feet away from this are the villager's house. And photos like this make me ask, 69 years we've gained independence, and yet on the ground, our people still live like that. So as a result, the villagers resort to open dumping in the surrounding mangrove areas or straight into the rivers and the sea, very clearly contributing to the plastic pollution and microplastic pollution as well. And this piled-up waste becomes breeding ground for mosquitoes. So in this village, it is also a dengue hotspot. And as a result, the villagers resort to burning. And they burn it not because they want to, but because there is no other option, and because the system has failed them. And I'm sorry to make this worse. Yes, there is worse. To make matters worse, access to clean water, to drink clean drinking water, became unreliable as the surrounding communities expand. So bottled water became the everyday solution, and this brings even more plastic waste into the village. Now, a few years ago, 14 water tanks were installed to solve this problem. But today, it sits unused because parts were stolen. And so from these two scenarios, we can see that unmanaged waste actually expose a lot of the deeper system challenges. And what we see are actually just a symptom. Overflowing bins reveal inadequate infrastructure and maintenance. Inaction revealed unclear roles and the lack of accountability. Burn waste by the community reveals service gaps and policy failures. And as I was working on this waste management issue, pushing for responsible consumption and sustainable waste management, through our education, community action, and policy advocacy, I realized that we are in fact working to address the systemic challenge through the zero waste cause. And so since 2023, we have been empowering market vendors with the knowledge on plastic pollution and responsible consumption. To date, we have trained 210 market vendors from Tuaran district. Yeah. And for these people, it is the first time they heard the word sustainability or kelestarian, which you and I are so familiar with. When I say kelestarian, they thought it's a type of dance, tari, menari. Right, so once they have this knowledge, then they see the problem, and they are empowered now to become the change agent in their sphere of influence. And so these are photos of the market vendors promoting reusable bags. We have reusable bag campaigns, bring your own bag campaign in the market. It's been going on for 3 years now. And it is very encouraging when market vendors take photos of what they're doing and what they tell to their customers. They share it with me. And this is how I know that our programs, it leaves an impact in the lives of these market vendors. And this is very important because when market community organize themselves, they form an association, they collaborate with the local district council in all these programs, it actually opened doors to discussion on addressing issues at the market. Right? And also programs like this connect our work and also our community to our leaders. Like in this photo here, there's actually Datuk Seri Panglima Wilfred Madistangau. He is the Member of Parliament for Tuaran. And he has been very supportive of our work and our community. He also invited us, to the point, because of all this work that is going on the ground, he invited us to incorporate the zero waste principle into his sustainable village program as well in his state constituency in Tamparuli. And his office oversees 94 community leaders and 64 villages. And just last week, after 3 years of doing groundwork with the market stakeholders, this is a Tuaran District Council, they finally requested our support as they launched their Bring Your Own Bag campaign. The journey has been very long, ladies and gentlemen. And the lady on the left here is actually Irene Sompun. She is the chairperson of the Market Vendors Association. She has been with this project since the beginning of 2023, and she's with me today. Would you please stand, Irene? Now, and so that is the market, and in the village, we did the same. We brought this knowledge on zero waste and waste segregation to Kampung Gerinsing. We empowered them with the knowledge on sustainable waste management, taught them the 5 R's, taught them what types of waste to segregate, and we helped set up monthly recyclables collection and household waste, and also we set up a community composting site in the village, right at the water tank that was abandoned, so we make use of the space there. And now the villagers have a system to manage their waste. And it is proven that it can be done. It is not impossible. And one of our villagers, Noraida Mustafa, she's actually with us here today, but something happened, but she will be here later on. You will see her in a beautiful Bajau summer attire. But she said this that struck me. She said, I didn't know that even with managing waste, we need knowledge. And for years, her mother is actually the head village of Kampung Gerinsing. And for years, that village has been struggling with waste, with rubbish. And when they have their meals, they have to close all the curtains. You know why? Because the flies that come from the rubbish pile would come into their house, and they would not be able to eat in peace. And now when this project goes in, and once she learned and they see the improvement, it is not 100% yet, yeah? But they say they see the improvement, and that's why they are very keen to continue the project. Okay, so, and through this story, it is very evident that when governance and system fail, people are often left with no good options, and everyone will do as they see fit. What I see from here is the environment doesn't allow us to do the right thing easily. To recycle, it's so difficult, not because in this way of sorting, but once we recycle, does it get processed? I have to drive to send my recyclables to this recycling collection center. How many people would do that? If it's not easy, nobody's going to do it, right? But through our projects, we see when communities are empowered, when government agencies work together, when the supporting system is provided, infrastructure systems and all that, then sustainability for the communities stop feeling like extra work. Bringing your own reusable containers, recycling, composting, yeah? And they simply become part of everyday life. Just like brushing our teeth and washing our clothes. It's a work, right? It's work. But we don't complain. We do it because it's necessary. And that, I believe, is where Malaysia needs to focus. Building community-centered systems that make doing the right thing and sustainable living easy. The work that I do, when I tell people, I get two responses. The first response would be, oh wow, very inspiring work. And the second one would be, this is an uphill battle. It's a losing war, they tell me. So many times people ask me, what gives you hope? Why do you do what you continue to do? And I'll say this, people like Irene and Noraida from Kampung Gerinsing gives me hope. Our funders who believe in an idea, even before they see a result, gives me hope. Government partners like the Tuaran Education Office and the Tuaran Health District Office gives me hope. Because they incorporate our work into their long-term plans. And it's not just me working on the ground, but so many partners are wanting to do good. And when we come together, there's synergy. We can work faster, leave greater impact, and run further. And as we celebrate our nation's 69th Merdeka under the theme Malaysia Madani, Kesejahteraan Dinikmati, it means enjoyed well-being. So I guess for my community, if they are to enjoy prosperity and well-being, that means they need to be able to work and live in an environment that is clean, healthy, and supportive of their livelihood. If we can't even get our rubbish right, how are we going to live in this, how are we going to have well-being? And Merdeka would mean for these communities that their lived experience is supported by a government who protects them and involve them in decision-making to advancing Malaysia. So in closing, I will leave this for all of you. And I'm very glad that, Hasanah means good deeds, goodness. And I guess one question we can ask ourselves, all of us here who are already doing good, what else can we do to create a system that will enable more people to do good? That it will be so easy to do good instead of bad. Thank you.